very
I
much
don't know.
for joining
How are you?
us. Well, very well, thanks so much. I know this is a super busy time for you, and we really appreciate your time on this. And I think it's going to be valuable to a lot of people. Christmas this year is obviously going to be very different for a lot of people. I think there'll be a lot who may have never cooked a Christmas dinner before. They have, gone back to Ireland and had this sort of the traditional family Christmas. So I think there's going to be, a lot of people in Australia over here who it might be their first time hosting a Christmas lunch.
Yeah.
Christmas dinner. And I suppose we just wanted to get you involved and to get a bit of professional sort of guidance on it, and take a little bit of the stress out of it for some people.
Yeah.
Just to let people know that it's not as daunting as maybe as they had thought. And
Yeah.
so Katerina's joining us as well. Katerina's part of the ISA team, and I know myself and Katerina had a chat before this, and Katerina is hosting her family potentially for Christmas this year, and I think we're just quite interested to get your take on a few things. So,
well, Christmas shouldn't be stressful. Christmas should be fun. And if you're stressing about Christmas dinner, don't. You don't need to stress about Christmas dinner. There's so much you can do in preparation to it. That on the day itself, you just relax and enjoy your guests.
Yeah, and I suppose like growing up back in Ireland, and you would have got up early and the oven would have been on from say like 8 o'clock, and mother was running around frantically doing things. And so I think that experience for me anyway, I'm thinking, okay, this is like a 48-hour thing that I'm myself in for potentially. And I know there is a lot of prep that can be done before, but I think the day itself, it's a lot. Sometimes people take it on themselves, and maybe they don't delegate, and it can be a lot, for sort of one person leading the show. Yeah.
Well, I usually host Christmas myself. I'm hosting it here this year. There's just going to be 4 of us this year. It's going to be a quiet Christmas, so I'm going to have everything done Christmas Eve. So all I have to do is get up Christmas morning and reheat the dinner when we want it, and sit down and enjoy it, and not stressed about roasting potatoes and doing all that malarkey and stuff. All that stuff can be done the day before and in your fridge, and it's perfectly safe and fine.
Brilliant. And Brendan, since you've been over in Australia, have you always done a traditional Christmas lunch every year, or?
Every year, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Even when it's hot, I still want me turkey and ham.
Good.
But join the Aussies as well. My partner's family, they usually have the prawns and the salads, and we still have turkey and ham and stuff, but it's all cold. But when I host, it's usually the hot dinner.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're gearing up for another hot summer. But if it can be done the day before, I mean, perfect. So look, we're just going to get stuck in a few questions that I've sort of mapped out in my head that I'm interested to know. I suppose for the traditional dinner, obviously you're looking at your turkey and your ham. Now, I know when I've gone shopping for especially hams, I find it very difficult to get your Irish ham. So do you have any sort of guidance on what we should be ordering from the butcher in terms of weight, in terms of sort of portioning out sort of per person?
So if you go by 4 people, then obviously you can multiply, or if there's just 2, you take away. I would suggest go to a butcher, don't buy your meat in the supermarket. I would go to your local butcher and just say, there's 4 of us or 6 of us for Christmas dinner. What do you recommend? I would say get the turkey crown. They call it the buffet here.
Okay.
So it's got no legs, it's just the breasts.
Okay.
And you're looking at about 3 to 5 kilo for 4 people. That's being generous, With your ham, highly recommend you ring Shay, the Irish butcher. He has the best hams. I use them at work here. I've used them for the last 8 years. I buy them for myself. They come in a 3 kilo vac packed bag. and it's very simple cooking techniques as well. So he's done his own brine, which is very like what our hams are done like in Ireland.
Yeah.
So it does taste exactly the same as home. And you cook it in that bag for 3 hours, 2.5 to 3 hours in the bag. Let it cool, open it, put it onto your tray, and then you can cook it, do a cider glaze with it. You could do a honey mustard glaze, your cloves, oranges. Put that into the oven for 35, 40 minutes, and you have a delicious Christmas ham.
Okay.
Right? Now, he's down at St. Mary's, but I know he delivers to he's doing deliveries throughout Sydney CBD now as well.
Okay.
So he's worth looking on.
Okay. And just say, for example, someone couldn't get to Shea for whatever reason.
Yeah.
What's the sort of closest thing to that ham that you'd find in an Australian supermarket?
There is gammons, hams, raw hams in the supermarkets. I'll be honest, I haven't used them. I'm quite picky when it comes to the meat. Your butcher will be able to help you, and he'll have hams there that's either cooked already, which a lot of Aussies just buy a cooked ham, big leg of ham. It's nice. I prefer to cook my own, but if you don't want to cook it, there's one, you can buy them already cooked and smoked.
Okay.
Right.
All right. And then I suppose Irish guys, they would have the connotation of being big eaters. So as you said, like say 2 women and 2 men, so you'd want about a 3 to 5 kilo turkey.
Yeah.
And then
so for your turkey, you need about 3 to 5 kilos of turkey crown, or buffet it's called here.
Okay.
And what I would do the day before, buy it the day before Christmas Eve. So you can order it the week before to pick up on Christmas Eve. A lot of places do that because they don't have the storage at home.
Okay.
And then what I do Christmas Eve is in my roasting tin, I put carrots, onions, celery, garlic, a little bit of chicken stock on the base. Put your turkey on top of all of that.
When you say on the base, just in with the vegetables in the
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you want the turkey just to be sitting a little bit above the base of the tray.
Okay.
So you use your vegetables as a tray, as a base.
Oh, lovely. Okay.
And then you get some lemon thyme. And plenty of butter. Now, I like to put butter in under the skin of the breast, so that it'll keep it moist throughout the cooking.
And is it easy to get it underneath that skin?
Yeah, so the skin will just lift back, and you can just rub the butter into the breast. Then put some more butter in the base of the tray as well, because during cooking you want to take it out and you want to baste it, which is just keep pouring the liquid over it, because turkey breast can be very dry.
Yeah, that's what I find in the past.
So 5 kilos of turkey, you're looking at about 40-45 minutes a kilo to cook on about 180 degrees Celsius. So roughly a 5 kilo turkey will take about 3.5 hours.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So there you've got your ham cooked, you've got your turkey cooked. There's 2 things you've done. Once they're cooled, you can put them in the fridge till later on in the afternoon. For your vegetables, whatever veg you're having, whether it's a baked cauliflower, broccolini, green beans, roasted carrots, roasted potatoes, that can all be prepared. So what I generally do is I blanch my beans, blanch my broccolini, and then refresh it under cold water so it keeps its nice color and nutrients.
Okay.
Put that in the fridge. For my carrots, I roast them off in a little bit of butter, olive oil, thyme, and garlic. And then once they're cool, they can go in the fridge. Your Brussels sprouts, parboil them, cut them in half, parboil them. Again, cool them under cold water and refrigerate. Okay?
And just to clarify, this is all the day before?
This is all the day before.
Wow,
okay. Right? So I do my roast potatoes on the day. That's the only thing. But I have them peeled and in the water, ready to go.
Okay.
So on the day, for Christmas Day, your guests arrive, you have a couple of glasses of bubbles, you sit down, you have some cheese and biscuits and canapes, smoked salmon, soda bread. You know, you can have a beautiful long day of grazing and you don't have to be in the kitchen the whole day. So when it comes to dinner time, I would suggest what we usually do on Christmas Day before dinner is we get the prawns and the seafood sauce, and we sit around and we peel the prawns and we eat those, and that's our starter.
Yeah.
And made some smoked salmon and bread, and we don't really do the soup thing because it's too hot.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to make your own soda bread, we have recipes, or there's the lovely Keen to Bake now. She's doing beautiful brown bread there in Sydney that she can buy at Ramsgate Market, I believe.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
So on the day of Christmas, to prepare your Christmas dinner and serve everybody, the night before, so Christmas Eve, I would slice my ham, I'd slice all my turkey, leave it in the trays, in the fridge, and we forgot the lovely stuffing.
I was just about to ask you, Brendan.
Where's the stuffing, Katerina?
The stuffing is the most important part for me after the ham. So can you tell me how you do your stuffing, and then we can talk about anyone that's gluten-free and maybe how we can make an alternative version for them that tastes just as good.
Right. So growing up at home, your mum always makes the best stuffing, right?
Quickly, yeah.
There's no one like your mum to make stuffing for Christmas Day. So I've always done her sage and onion and thyme, and it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So it's loads of onions, butter, splash of white wine, your breadcrumbs, a little bit of vegetable stock or chicken stock if you want, chopped parsley, chopped garlic. Sorry, that's my puppy. It's coming in there.
Okay.
And cook all that. Cook your butter, onions, and garlic down, and your herbs down. Add your breadcrumbs till you get a nice wet consistency that you can mold into. You can make it into balls.
And are you using fresh breadcrumbs here, Brendan?
Yes, I get a sliced bread. Blend that down. You can buy your breadcrumbs already done at some of the bakeries. If you don't have a blender and you don't want to do that.
Okay.
When my stuffing is done, then what I tend to do is I'll get a sheet of greaseproof paper and I line out the stuffing, and then I roll it really tight, wrap it in cling film and roll it again. So you've got this nice long roll.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I haven't seen that done before, so that's a really good tip. And then you divide it up then when it's in the rolls?
Yeah, and then it's presentation-wise, it looks lovely and professional. And what else do I do with it? Oh yeah, so for the gluten-free option, because I'm now celiac as well, so I have to change my diet this year. Gluten-free breadcrumbs, you know, your turkey can be gluten-free, your ham is gluten-free, your stuffing can be gluten-free, and your veg is obviously gluten-free. So you can enjoy Christmas dinner being a celiac or being gluten intolerant.
What about gravy, Brendan?
So gravy, I like to make my own gravy. Obviously, a lot of people wouldn't know how to make a gravy or where to start. One of the simplest things to do is you could use some of the juice from your turkey. Once it's cold, let it into a pot, let it go cold, and skim the fat off it. Add some tawny port.
Very nice.
Yeah, let that cook down. Some chicken or beef stock. Pour that into it, and then I would thicken it with just corn flour. Otherwise, Bisto gravy, everyone knows Bisto. We all grew up with Bisto.
I didn't. I never had prepackaged gravy. It was always homemade one.
It's homemade at Christmas, but the rest of the time we had Bisto.
I agree, Brendan. I agree. Some mums, my mum just didn't have time for that, I don't think. So
yeah. So yeah, thicken it with corn flour or cornstarch. You can use plain flour. Make a little roux with a little bit of butter and water, and that'll thicken it as well. And then just drain it through a sieve so there's no lumps in it. And you've got a lovely, delicious port gravy.
I love the idea of adding the port. Makes it nice.
Sorry?
Rich. I love the idea of adding the port. Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll give it that nice dark red velvety color as well, so it looks beautiful. So then on the day when you want to serve up Christmas dinner, you can get on your trays, you can put, so if there's 4 of you, you put out 4 slices of ham, as much turkey as you want, and then slice your stuffing, put that on top, obviously take away the cling film and the paper, and put a little bit of chicken stock on the base, cover it with foil, put it into the oven. While that's reheating for 10 minutes, sorry, we've skipped a bit, the roast potatoes. We need to cook the roast potatoes. Yeah. Put your potatoes on to boil. Parboil them for 15 minutes. Cut them up fairly chunky.
Are you using any particular type of potato on those, Brendan? Or?
So I use Sebagos. They seem to be the driest potato that we can get at the moment.
Okay.
Sebagos, King Charles, they're probably 2 of the best.
Perfect.
And yeah, so you parboil them, and then when you go to your butcher to pick up your turkey, get yourself some duck fat. Can't beat the duck fat. So while your spuds are draining, into the pan put some chopped up onion, garlic, thyme, rosemary, your duck fat. Let that heat up, and then pour your potatoes into that and give them a nice shuffle so that they crumb a little bit.
Yeah.
Loads of rock salt and sea flake salt and black pepper. Put them into the oven, 25 to 40 minutes. You've got lovely crispy roast potatoes. All right?
Sounds delicious.
Yeah.
And is that covered or with tin foil or uncovered, Brendan?
With tin foil.
Yeah. Okay.
No, sorry, no, that's the turkey. No tin foil on the potatoes.
Okay.
You want a nice brown, excuse me, golden color.
Great.
And lovely taste of duck fat and thyme and garlic.
So they're the healthy option, Brendan, obviously.
Well, is there a healthy option for Christmas? Everyone's drinking wine and bubbles, and I think it's the one day of the year where you can actually go, you know what? Let's just eat what we want.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want a healthy option, you can have a baked salmon or a poached salmon. You know, there's for vegans, a baked aubergine or a bowl of lettuce. Just joking. I'm kidding. No, there is a lot of vegans out there, and you still do all your veg, but without the dairy and without the meat, obviously. So they can still enjoy vegetables. You could do a nut roast. There's a lot of work to doing a nut roast. There is great variations you can buy at the supermarkets now for nut roasts. So you don't have to exclude vegans or vegetarians. There is lots of great options there.
Okay. It might be quite interesting to get. Have you made the nut roast before?
Personally, I haven't. We usually did, when we had the restaurant, we did a different dish, like for vegetarians and for vegans. Like I said, the baked aubergine we used to do with a roast tomato pesto.
And was that
being
halved and then roasted sort of?
So halved, and then you score it with a knife, and you put olive oil and salt into it, and you blind bake it, which is you cook it without anything else on it. And then when it's just cooked, you take it out, you put your pesto on, a nice onion jam, feta cheese or goat's cheese, sprinkle with leaves of rosemary, and then just reheat that in the oven. And you can serve it with balsamic reduction, which you can buy at the supermarket as well, or you can make it yourself by just reducing balsamic vinegar and brown sugar.
That sounds delicious.
Great.
It is nice.
Yeah, I think it's, in the past, the vegetarians and the vegans have felt like they're sort of missing out a little bit, and it's not as special for them, but things have come a long way recently, and there are ways of making that type of food.
There is.
Very tasty.
You can stuff a butternut squash with lentils. You do curried lentil, butternut squash, and that's very filling, and they can still have all the veg that goes with Christmas. They just can't have the duck fat roast potatoes, but you could roast a few separately for them in just some olive oil.
And I think, I know, I've got a friend who's vegan, and anytime that we go out for dinner and there's meat eaters amongst us, it's still delicious food regardless of what diet, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of effort goes into catering for vegetarians and vegans now.
Yeah.
There wasn't before, and there was never much options before. But I think there's a lot more out there now. There's a lot more people that have gone vegetarian and vegan for their own choice, whatever it is. They can go out to a restaurant and enjoy a nice, delicious meal, and rightly so.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Brendan, we've talked a lot about the main course, and we kind of touched on your starters. You said your preference is that you have prawns usually to start with.
Yeah.
Maybe for people that are struggling with ideas about what to do as alternatives to your vegetable soup when you're at home, any other starter options that you could recommend that are quite easy to do, and maybe the same kind of thing can be prepped the day before so we get to actually enjoy Christmas Day?
Creamy garlic mushrooms. We all love garlic mushrooms. And again, you could have that ready the day before by just frying off your mushrooms in some thyme and butter and garlic, fresh garlic. Leave them in the fridge when they're cooled down, and the next day just put them in a pan, add some cream, salt and pepper, make some toast, put them under your toast, sprinkle some goat cheese on top, and you've got a nice starter that you're not spending hours in the kitchen, you know?
You make it sound very easy, Brendan.
It actually is very easy. If you do a correct shopping list, if you do your menu of what you want to do and exactly what you're going to cook, go to your supermarket 3-4 days before Christmas, take your time, get what you want to get, don't stress about it. You can prep, make sure you have the time to prep your vegetables and your turkey and the ham and all that stuff. So, you know, there's people that won't have time to do it. You can buy some vegetables that's already prepared if you want to, you know. There's all those little things at the supermarket that you can buy. If you want bread sauce, you can buy a bread sauce. You don't have to make a bread sauce. That's more of an English thing, really. But
Brendan, can you get pre-made glazes in the supermarket?
you can, yeah, you can.
Okay.
But one of the simple glazes of all is get a jar of marmalade.
Oh, right.
And put that over your ham and stick some cloves in. It's got all the elements in it for a lovely orange glaze.
Okay.
So the orange, it's got the sugar. You can pour a little bit of brandy into it.
Oh, yum.
You know? And you've got it just from a jar of marmalade.
Okay. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be time consuming all the time.
Yeah.
What about desserts as well, Brendan, that are, you know, we could say more on the simpler side, but still have got that taste?
Christmas pudding. We all like Christmas pudding, but who makes Christmas puddings anymore? Nobody has time.
I don't think so. Nobody has time.
No one's has time, but I would highly recommend you spend the money and get a good Christmas pudding, you know, that look at the back of the packet, look at the ingredients, look at the fruit content, look at the alcohol content that's in it and what alcohol they're using in it. You know, is it brandy? Is it port? Is it whiskey? You know.
And what's the one that you should be looking out for if you wanted a Christmas pudding, in your opinion?
High fruit content and high brandy content.
Brandy. Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah. And the same, I love trifle at Christmas. Most of us can make a trifle, a simple trifle. You know, Mum's made it at home with the tinned fruit. I like to use, I buy the bags of frozen berries and I cook those down. The mixed berries.
I think we're going to want to join you for Christmas, maybe.
And then just layers. You can buy sponge fingers, and you can layer sponge fingers with your fruit, your cream, you know, your jelly, and you can have it even as a feature in a nice bowl on your table for Christmas, where it's all just comes together, and just decorate it on top with flakes and grated chocolate, and yeah. Or you can buy your desserts already done for you, again from Rachel, Keen to Bake. I believe she does beautiful Christmas desserts.
She makes the most beautiful design cheesecakes, and
yes, she does.
It's stunning.
That might take the stress away from a lot of people. Is you know, you know, support the local community as well, and go out there and buy your brown breads in these COVID times. You know, everybody needs a little bit of support. So if you don't want to cook a dessert, Rachel, I'm sure, would be delighted to take your order. If I was in Sydney myself, I'd be doing it this year, but I'm not.
I know for myself, after I've had my starter and my main course, I'm very full at that point. But I love a little sweet finish to my meal.
Mm-hmm.
So is there any, like, just sort of mini sort of sweetness that's not too much that you could suggest?
I would suggest buy a really nice dessert wine.
That's the, yeah.
And then, yeah, got that wine. So there's loads of wineries here in Mudgee where I am.
Yeah.
And Robert Steen's make delicious wines, and they have a gorgeous dessert wine. It's almost like a syrup. And I call it dessert in a glass. You don't actually want dessert after, you just sip that, and it's the sweetness and it's the alcohol. It's absolutely 10 out of 10. So I'm finished with that. You can buy lovely sweet wines in the bottle shops. Finish with that and then have your dessert later on. You know, it's Christmas Day. You don't have to rush everything. You know, it's one of those days where you want to chill out. You want to relax with your friends, have the party atmosphere, and eat, drink, be merry. That's what we do at Christmas, isn't it? It's what we do best.
Right. We do it very well.
We do.
In terms of what's left over maybe from the meat, I've tried a curry before, which has worked really well, because some people are a little bit sick of the Christmas dinner for the second day in a row. What would you do if you had any meat leftovers?
So obviously you get more people coming over on Stephen's Day for a few beers and out the back in a barbecue or on the balcony. Nothing like a nice ploughman's lunch, which, you know, lovely ploughman's. Use up your cold turkey, ham, get some nice cheeses, chutneys, biscuits, wines, breads. You know, you can have a nice big platter. It'll use up all your leftovers. Eat away. You know, that's what we do. Just everything cold. And we rarely have potatoes or veggies left, or if you do, it's not that much. Do you know what I mean? So it's not going to cost you a lot if there's wastage. So yeah, I love a good ploughman's with the cheese and the ham and, you know, quince paste and again, you're going to have everything there for it anyway. You'll have breads in, you'll have your soda bread in, you know, so you're not going to be hungry on Stephen's Day.
No, I don't think so. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, people just graze all day, you know. That's it. It's not one set meal. You just go to the fridge every now and again. You might grab something, or if it's laid out, or if food is laid out for you in any way, you just sort of pick on it.
You pick at it all day.
Yeah.
Or you can turn your leftover ham into a nice pasta.
Oh yeah.
You know, or a risotto, turkey cream turkey risotto. You know, there's so much you can do with your leftovers. You're not going to waste it. It's going to be beautiful, so you're not going to want to waste it. Yeah. And if you've got friends coming over, you'll have enough left over to feed 10 people, you know, because you just graze. So.
Yum. Okay, so I suppose you've sort of gone through the main day with us. If you had to summarise and give people sort of, you know, your top tips for the day, for cooking and for planning, what would they be?
Right. Top tips, I would say, plan your menu. Write your menu out, what you're having on the morning, on the afternoon, for dinner. Will you want snacks and stuff in the evening time after dinner, watching a movie or something? Do your shopping, have a correct shopping list with everything on it. Buy everything 3-4 days before. Order your turkey, pick that up the day before Christmas Eve if you can, or if not, Christmas Eve. Same with your ham. Do all your prep, like I said, on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And on Sunday morning, whatever you have for breakfast, don't stress. Everything is done from the day before. Enjoy the day, enjoy your friends, and have that time to be able to FaceTime home and wish everyone a Merry Christmas, because that's important for us all, is to connect with home and have that. We're going to have a breakfast with my mother on Christmas Day. So her breakfast, our dinner, but we're going to try and incorporate all the families, have a 5-way video. So we're all having food together on Christmas Day.
Oh, that's lovely. That sounds
Yeah. But the main thing is, don't stress about it. Enjoy the day. That's the biggest tip I can give you.
Brendan, I think that's going to be so helpful for everyone out there that will
and don't forget to go to Mass.
Absolutely. I think that's all the questions that we had for you. I am sure this will be watched many times, and them tips are brilliant. And yeah, preparation is key.
Preparation is key, and make sure your other half helps you as well. He's not to be sitting there
delegate tasks.
Delegate tasks. You go do the shopping, you peel the carrots, you peel the fudge, you make the stuffing. You know? Listen, thanks very much for having me, and we love what you do with the Irish Poor Agency. You're a phenomenal organisation. Hello to Paula Cobain there. She does a great job.
Yeah.
And we just want to wish everyone in the Irish community a very happy and peaceful Christmas. And it's going to be a bit different this year, but keep your chins up. We've all got each other.
Oh, thank you so much, Brendan. It really means a lot to us. And I think you mentioned key things in there. If anyone has any sort of follow-up comments, or they wanted to ask you about a particular thing, look, we can get in touch with you.
Absolutely. Message me on Facebook. Message me on my messenger. Yeah, no problem at all.
Super.
No problem.
All right. Well, look, I know you're busy, so best of luck with the festive season.
Yeah, you too.
We'll catch up in the new year.
We will. All the best.
All the best.
Brendan.
See you, Brendan.
Okay.
Bye-bye.